Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. Today guys, we're going to be diving down into the charts, taking a look at Vechain. It's obviously been an incredibly volatile market recently. Vechain has been heavily affected. A lot of things have been invalidated, so we're going to dive down into those charts, really give it a good review, probably start again, take a good clean look at the charts and actually see what we think is likely to happen next. As we get into the video, if you find it useful and informative, hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe. Tap the bell, select all notifications, and you will be kept up to date with all the videos that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. Right, with all that said, done, and out of the way, let's jump on down into the charts and take a look at what's going on here with Vechain. Okay guys, so in line with a lot of requests from various members over in Patreon, Discord, and of course on the YouTube comments as well, we've seen that there's been a lot of demand for Vechain, what's going on, what's invalidated, what's not invalidated, is 2022 going to be a great year for Vechain, all that kind of good stuff. So what we're going to do is we're going to, first of all, acknowledge, yes, this has been invalidated. Okay, we were tracking for a triangle, this triangular wedge here, and this invalidation point, you know, it's very, very clear. We've actually dropped down lower than we had done previously in terms of what was going on in the initial crash from May to June, right? And these fantastically low levels have been hit again. As you can see inside our yellow box area, this is effectively the buy zone that we actually mapped out a long time ago. It's still here and still very much a valid, buy zone. But we do want to kind of really review what's going on the chart and to be, having a good amount of confidence in whether or not we're going to be buying more Vechain at 5 cent, or whether or not we might be actually be able to pick it up maybe 3-4 cent, right? So let's actually start off with that, right? Because I think it's important that we kind of acknowledge, I think that, we're not necessarily in a bear market yet. I think there's a lot of strong indicators to say that we are not in a bear market. And in fact, this is a bearish phase that we're in right now in the same way that we were back with May and June, July, etc. For many projects, they didn't actually go ahead and set another all-time high yet, right? And we are seeing a lot of data that's suggesting that actually things are going to get a massive reversal soon. But we are also very mindful that there are some invalidation points even to that, right? And at the moment, they're still very valid, but if they do get invalidated, you are going to know about it, right? Join us in Discord. We're going to let everyone in Discord know first. So there's a link to that in the description below if you're not already over there. If you're wanting to know more about bear markets, accumulation strategies, and join us on the AMAs, we've got Patreon services for that. Go check that out in the description down below as well. But to start with, what we're going to do is we're going to hit this big delete button and we're going to clean off the chart, right? Because we don't need any of that. It's been invalidated. Let's actually start with a clean slate, right? This is the daily chart, and we can see some pretty decent volatility here. Now, the first thing we kind of want to really acknowledge is what's going on right now, okay? And we're going to start here on the daily, then we are going to drop down into our hourly in a moment, because I think it's important that we do pay attention to those micro movements on the hourly chart. But let's first of all get a good grip on what's happening in the medium term, okay? Because I don't think we're gonna have recovery. It's not going to be a quick recovery though, okay? So what we end up with here is this A, B, and C move, okay? We can see this here. The question is that the bottom of C, right? Are we effectively at the bottom? I don't think we are. I do think there's a little bit more to go, although Bitcoin's making some interesting moves at the point of recording this video. It would effectively have to cross 36,500 to invalidate its C wave, and I can see it right now just up here actually at 36,300, so it's getting very, very close to it. Okay, so with that in mind, I'm going to kind of show you where I think the bottom of Vechain is likely to be first. Okay, so I'm going to just pop this down here and we get a C wave that potentially can come down to this point here, about 3.8 cent, okay? So pretty low, but it is obviously in line with what Bitcoin is doing. If Bitcoin actually starts to go up now, you should expect that this is the bottom for Vechain, right? I wouldn't expect it to go any lower than we've already been if we actually break that level of 36,500 for Bitcoin, right? So we're very mindful on that. But if Bitcoin goes down and it continues to reach those low levels of 31,700 approximately, then we should expect Vechain to be about 3.8 cent. Okay, so that effectively would be the bottom here of this C wave. And it's at that point, you should expect an ABC to the upside. Now, no one knows how high that's going to be. It could be shallow. It could be an absolutely massive A wave up, very, very impulsive in its nature. And then, you know, a fantastic C wave that goes up into all-time highs, right? That's also very possible. But no one knows until you actually start that forming or that formation of that A wave, right? So all we know for sure is that this is going to see a reversal. Okay, it's going to see a reversal at approximately this point here. And, you know, from there, we'll measure that A wave and we'll get a good idea as to where things are going. Okay, but we aren't there just yet. All we do know is that we are likely to pull back down, and this is the most probable area of that. Okay, so we obviously have wicked down just to the 786. This is also a very valid reversal point should Bitcoin decide to, you know, invalidate its C wave down. Okay, so really good and important stuff to kind of on there. Now, obviously, the stochastic RSI is supporting a reversal, so we know we're close. Okay, the question is just how close are we? And as we come into this 8 hour, we can see that we're also very, very close. You know, almost, well, we're oversold. We're just coming out of the oversold area as we print a green candle on this 8 hourly chart. On the 4 hourly, it looks like we need reversal. It looks like we need to have some kind of correction to wipe out that stochastic RSI. That doesn't mean it's going to be a huge price drop. It just means that we need momentum to change and shift around a little bit. Okay, so obviously the stochastic RSI is super sensitive to price movements. So if we actually start to see the momentum and the volume drop behind Vechain as you decline, that stochastic RSI is going to drop massively without actually doing too much damage to the price, which is ideally that's what we want, right? But there is some form of correction required here. We can see that here. There's going to be some form of reversal. And again, here you can also see that there's you know, a bit of a wave count kind of going on inside this hourly chart as well, 4 hourly chart. And as I come across here, you can see that we've had this kind of real big pullback and then bounced up. And, you know, at the moment, we're probably kind of looking for a reversal just here, actually, on a smaller ABC scale. This would be in your A, this being your B, pulling down a little bit towards this lower range here for a C wave. Okay, and we can, of course, measure this distance. We first of all want to find out, you know, where have we actually bounced up to? Is it a reversal point? Right now, it's on top of that 702, just past the 618. That's a good reversal location. You always seem to find reversals within the 618, the 702, the 786. Those are the most probable areas that I found in the charts. They usually are the reversals. So as we go ahead and you know, throw this on here, and this time we'll actually transpose that and say let's not go any higher than we currently have. You know, that actually shows us with an ABC move, then coming down, A wave down, B wave up, and a C wave down here at 4.1 cent. Okay, so you know, getting a little bit closer towards our overall 3.8 cent target. Okay, so you know, you can see that going to happen. That would lower our 4 hourly stochastic RSI, but that's just the 4 hourly chart, right? What does the hourly chart show us? Well, the hourly chart shows us that we're overbought right now, so again, corrective action is required. And what's interesting about this is you could almost argue that this looked like it was going impulsive down. If we actually grab hold of this measurement, we'll move that over here, you can see that we went past the 1.618. But on this reversal that we've just had, we actually crossed that initial wave one. So we know it's not impulsive, which means that is effectively just an ABC move to the downside here on this smaller scale, right? A, B, and C. We can see that. That's just a slightly longer C wave, but it has invalidated any impulsive move. That's a good sign. Okay, this then looks like it's actually moving up. There's an A wave up, a B wave here, and a C wave. And again, we can measure this distance, right? So we know that there's a direction of upward direction here, and what we want to do is we want to just ascertain, you know, how far is this thing likely to go up on this micro scale. And as I actually do this, we can see that we've already achieved it. The 1-to-1 ratio has been hit at 5 cent. So we already know that that's actually reaching the kind of the standard ABC criteria. Okay, so it's already kind of there, which means we are expecting a pullback, and we haven't seen the formation of the A wave yet. But of course, if this here is an A wave and that's a B wave, then effectively we already know, because we looked at the 4 hourly chart, what our targets are, 4.1 cent on that journey down towards 3.9. But again, we're mindful over what Bitcoin is doing, as Bitcoin is leading the pack. Okay, so should Bitcoin continue to go down towards those $31,000 levels, then of course we should expect you know, Vechain here to go down to 4.1. Maybe it'll overextend and actually hit this actual C target on our daily chart of 3.8. Okay, we're right in that zone, that sweet spot for a low point for Vechain. So I will be in the market and I will be buying up Vechain specifically here, because this is going to be a reversal point. Okay, this looks like we're going to get a daily reversal in and around anywhere between kind of 4.1 and, you know, 3.8. That's what I'm kind of hoping for. Okay, so as we scale this back up and we start thinking, okay, cool. So we know kind of what's going on the smaller time frames. We're expecting downtrend, and we're looking for it to finish in this kind of range, right? Pretty good and comfortable areas. Now, obviously, there's a couple of interesting points that I do want to highlight. There's an area of support. I'm just going to kind of quickly draw this one right in here. As I look sideways, there we go. And this one actually comes in at 3.5. I don't think we're going to go that low, but there's a good area of support right there. Okay, so we know that we're kind of nearing these things. So yeah, medium term, short term, downward trend, we're looking to pick that up. Heavily oversold, obviously. On the weekly, we can see, obviously, a fantastic pull down, a push up, and a pull back down. This looks like a fantastic corrective move, right? Obviously, you know, we haven't really come out of our fourth wave move, right? We obviously have been tracking 5 impulsive moves. So we actually take a look. We have wave 1, we have wave 2, we had wave 3 up here, and what we thought was wave 4 was here, but actually it might be that wave 4 is all the way over this side, and this is perfectly valid. There is no reason that that isn't valid. It would only become invalid if we actually drop down lower than this level, and I'll quickly mark that up so that we can all be very aware of where those invalidation points are. That would be 2.2 cent. Okay, so this fourth wave, you'd have to be all the way down here before it's even invalid, right? We have to cross that level. So this is looking pretty interesting, right? So I'm going to just park this over here for a sec, because what I do want to highlight is this really big, actually, I'm going to delete that for a second. What we want to highlight is this. Although we were tracking for a triangle and the triangle has broken, we can of course see that there is this move. Okay, and again, you know, we'll measure this distance and see if we get into consensus here. Let me grab hold of this move and I'll transpose that over to here. This one shows us moving down to 3.5 exactly. Okay, so that 3.5 was that strong area of support that I spoke about earlier. That is where our weekly is the most probable stopping point for Vechain, right? That's going to be the completion point of our ABC. Now, if we actually measure this distance again, this time we're going to look for something else. We're going to look for, yeah, it's exactly what I thought it was. So if we come over here, we have a 786 rejection, and that's where we've seen this downtrend, right? So we're looking at tracking up in this B wave, okay? So we initially were looking at this pullback down here being an ABC move. Again, very valid ABC move to the downside within our A wave. And then obviously we were looking at tracking, you know, an ABC up, right? An A, B, and C up. That ABC up got rejected from the 786, that 19.3 cent area. And then we are tracking an ABC down, okay? And that ABC down looks like it is going in at that 3.8 cent range. Now, obviously, this larger ABC move overall is actually indicating 3.5 cent. And again, it resonates incredibly well in the sense of the fact that we had this decent A wave down. We had a good push to the upside, got rejected from that 786, very standard stuff, and then we pull back down, right? So although our triangle has invalidated, it doesn't mean that, you know, we're not expecting really good things for Vechain during 2022, or, you know, it might have been extended into 2023. We don't know timing. Timing is always the hardest thing to get. Now, I'm going to tidy this up, because the other thing I really want to highlight to you guys is that impulsive move. Okay, that's still very valid. So let me actually just grab this. I'm just going to quickly just drop these in here for a second. So we know that that's the most probable area for fourth wave correction, and then we'll do that, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this down into here. That's our second wave and our first wave down here. Okay, so it's been a pretty interesting bull run so far, right? We've had a good push up. We had the second wave down, the third wave up here. And again, you know, I will measure this for good course, really. We'll go ahead and grab this. We'll transpose it over to here. And again, you can see that actually it's a little bit short of that impulsive move. So it's not technically impulsive in its nature. So that's an interesting point to kind of highlight as well. I actually thought it had achieved that, but clearly I hadn't measured it properly. So you can see here, it hasn't crossed that 1.382. So this could technically be just an ABC move up and an ABC move down, and then obviously an ABC follows that. Very, very corrective. But I do think that this is potentially, like many other altcoins, actually following the same patterns, which are impulsive in nature. Okay, so interesting. I will leave leave it as an impulsive move for now, but I'll also leave that there to say that, you know, it's not technically impulsive yet. So, you know, if this does cross this area down here of 2.2 cent, we can, you know, put a pin in that for sure. Other than that, we want to kind of track, you know, what's going on, because we have had 5 waves here, 3 here, 5 in here, and, you know, what will be 3 waves in our fourth wave correction. That'll then take us, you know, to these significantly higher areas. Now, what I want to highlight here next is this this move, right? So if wave 4 here is this, if this is a wave 4, okay, that's the first thing we should say, is if this is a wave 4, then the most, I say the most probable, we're looking at least to a 1.618 you know, push forward. Okay, so a fifth wave, there's at least 1.618 of the previous wave, that being fourth wave, and this actually makes it $1 on this daily this weekly chart. Okay, the 2.618 obviously is you know, far and far beyond that, to be honest with you. So interestingly, that's, if we did pull back to 3.5, that is where that fifth wave is probably going to hit at least $1, which again was in line with our standard TA anyway, also in line with the trends that we've been seeing. But overall, I am very, very confident that we are not in a bear market just yet. I'm confident in everything that Vechain is doing fundamentally and everything that they are delivering. It's fantastic, and you know, it's a dual token system. VET token in itself is just the store of value for their blockchain. It doesn't actually, you know, matter how many more transactions you get on the Vechain 4 blockchain. That doesn't really increase the value of VET. What will increase the value of VET is the demand for it, and of course the supply for it. And as an enterprise, you're heavily incentivized to hold and own VET in order to earn V4 to pay the gas fees. Okay, so the more and more enterprises that are on board with Vechain, the more and more demand there is going to be for VET to basically make their operations more cost efficient. Okay, so ultimately, what you're really looking for here is more adoption of Vechain 4 blockchain globally, which is, you know, always going on anyway. But the more and more of that you're going to see, the more and more demand there's going to be. The supply, you know, generally is getting, you know, quite large amounts of it taken out and put into staking in the Sync2 app, for example, just to earn that V4. And market cap isn't really a barrier because it just represents price. So the only two things that really affect the price are going to be supply and demand, and then, you know, the result of the supply and demand is the price, and the price is the market cap. So, you know, $86 billion market cap isn't really a problem. You just need to solve the first two, which is supply and demand. So overall, I'm still very confident in Vechain. If we do see 3.5 cent, I will be categorically buying a lot of Vechain again, because I did not actually reach my targets in 2021 for buying, you know, a significant amount of Vechain. I had a goal in mind. I never actually quite got to that goal because the price just kind of kept going and going and getting away from me. So this is another opportunity for me to revisit that goal and see if I can actually achieve it, which will be fantastic for me personally. And hopefully you guys see it as an opportunity in the same way that I do as well. Guys, I'm going to leave the video there. If you have found this useful and informative, hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so you will be kept up to date with absolutely everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. If you haven't done so yet, check out our Discord server. Fantastic community talking crypto 24/7. Guys, hope everyone has a fantastic day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.